Oh, good morning. Hello. My God, I've just watched episode 7 of Smallville, Kandor, and I'm speechless. Really, I'm speechless. Certain things that I've been wanting to know for quite a while have suddenly been answered. Certain questions that I've sort of asked myself have been answered. You know, questions such as how exactly did the Kandorians arrive in that orb? How exactly was that orb used to control Clark or to make him weak? Because if you'll remember at the end of season 6, when he was facing Lex and Lex had the orb, as Clark was going towards it, the orb not only grew brighter but was weakening him at the same time. And tonight's episode basically answered that question. I'm just going to go out and say it straight away. Julian Sands plays Jor-el in this episode, and we are taken back to 20 years before Krypton was destroyed. We find that Jor-el is collecting blood samples of the military guild of Kandor on Krypton. This includes Major Zod, Alia, and a number of other Kandorians within the military guild. And the reason that Jor-el is collecting these samples is in case of anything that happens on Krypton or on Kandor, then they've got their lives preserved if they should be moved elsewhere, that they can be resurrected again. Now, you all remember at the end of season 6, the orb was used to control Clark. At the end of season 7, a figure emerged from the orb. The orb started talking to Tess, and that's when it started, questions were being asked. Everyone was thinking, how is Zod in the orb? How has he come out from there? Then as season 8 has progressed, we've now found out though that there's not just Zod, there's more Kandorians, and even Jor-el was in there as well. And not only that, all of them wanted to know why did they not have their abilities. And tonight's episode pretty much answered that question. If you don't want to know, then don't listen to what I'm about to say, if you haven't watched it already. But I'm going to say it anyway. Jor-el was the one, as I say, he collected the blood samples of the other Kandorians. He created the orb, but fused it with blue kryptonite. He fused the orb with blue kryptonite. Hence, when you look at the orb, it's got those 4 diamonds on it. Those are fused with the blue kryptonite, and that is why the Kandorians do not have any abilities or powers whatsoever on Earth. Now, at the end of Crossfire, or at least towards the end of Crossfire, it was Crossfire, wasn't it? Well, no, it was Roulette. I can't remember now. My mind's gone. Basically, when Zod was talking to Tess, he was confronting Tess as to who the Blur was, and they all, Zod was thinking it was Jor-el. So because in Tess's mind she led Zod to believe that Jor-el was the Blur, she kidnaps Jor-el, because he arrives onto the farm, and then turns out that Zod eventually twigged that Jor-el isn't the Blur, because then he realised that he is just as powerless as him. Plus Jor-el explains to Zod why they don't have their powers, why they are as they are on Earth and such. So now Zod knows that Kal-El Clark is the Blur, and is going to be keeping a keen eye on him. There were so many references to the comics and everything, to the films, to the TV shows and all that sort of stuff in this episode. I was particularly pleased with one scene where Jor-el was being sentenced by the Council of Kandor on the show, and reminiscent of Superman and Superman 2. That's all I can say. It was just amazing to see that. I love where Smallville is going right now, and I am enjoying it every second that I'm watching it now. What else am I going to say? Actually, I'm not going to spoil anymore, because there was another reason why Jor-el came to Smallville. It wasn't just to find Clark, because even though it was to find Clark, he didn't know that he had a son, because he found Chloe on the farm And Chloe started talking about Clark, and he was like, I'm sorry, you must be mistaken, I don't have a son. But Jor-El remembers being on Earth, because if you remember, I think it must have been either season 2 or 3 when we saw a younger version. Well, I say we saw a younger version, but Tom Welling played a character called Joseph, who arrived on Earth back in the 50s or the 60s, and that's when he bumped into Hiram Kent, aka Jonathan Kent's father. Jor-El remembers that moment. Jor-El remembers being sent to Earth by his father as a rite of passage. So it all suddenly connects, everything comes together. But there was a specific reason why Jor-El actually went to Smallville, and you will see why towards the end of the episode. If you haven't seen it, watch it and you'll know what I mean. But as I say, that's all I'm going to say. So many other things to do with this episode that I can't think of right now, but I'm going to leave it there because I can't believe what I've just watched. It's amazing. Just a couple of things quickly. Next week's episode is titled Idol, features the Wonder Twins. We've also got interesting Smallville news now, I'm about to tell you. If you do follow me on Twitter, you probably already know this. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I suggest you add me right now. I've put the link in the sidebar there, so add me straight away and follow me on Twitter, because I will be putting Smallville updates on there. The latest update that I've put on is that a certain member of the Justice League is going to return to Smallville. If you want to know who that person is, as I say, add me straight away now on Twitter, and you'll see the update that I've put on earlier tonight. If you already know who I'm talking about, then you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But I'm going to leave it there, and I'll see you all next week.